can I ask you a question about the state of medical evidence at the present time? In your petition, you made a sweeping statement, which I will quote. Overwhelming evidence establishes that the appropriate gender-affirming treatment with puberty blockers and hormones directly and substantially improves the physical, psychological well-being of transgender adolescents with gender dysphoria. That was in November 2023. Now, even before then, the Swedish National Board of Health and Welfare wrote the following. They currently assess, quote, that the risks of puberty blockers and gender-affirming treatment are likely to outweigh the expected benefits of these treatments, which is directly contrary to the sweeping statement in your petition. After the filing of your petition, of course, we saw the release of the Cass report in the United Kingdom, which found a complete lack of high-quality evidence showing that the benefits of the treatments in question here outweigh the risks. And so I wonder if you would like to stand by the statement that you made in your petition, or if you think it would now be appropriate to modify that and withdraw the statement that there is overwhelming evidence establishing that these treatments have benefits that greatly outweigh the risks and the dangers.
I, of course, acknowledge, Justice Alito, that there is a lot of debate happening here and abroad about the proper model of delivery of this care and exactly when adolescents should receive it and how to identify the adolescents for whom it would be helpful. But I stand by that there is a consensus that these treatments can be medically necessary for some adolescents, and that's true no matter what source you look at. You mentioned both the Cass report and Sweden, but neither of those
can be medically necessary for some minors, but for the general run of minors, do you dispute the proposition, in fact, that in almost all instances, the judgment at the present time of the health authorities in the United Kingdom and Sweden is that the risks and dangers greatly outweigh the benefits? Do you dispute that?
I do dispute that, because if you actually look at how those jurisdictions are addressing this issue, they have not outright banned this care. The Cass report says at multiple points that this care can be medically indicated for some transgender adolescents. And of course it's true that they have called for a more individualized approach to these issues and have questioned whether it should be readily applied to all adolescents as a matter of course.
Is it not true that in England, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the time is running out, that the National Health Service some months ago limited the prescription of puberty blockers to adolescent males who are over the age of 16 and are already on estrogen, but for those who are under the age of 16, it's allowed only for experimental purposes. Is that not true?
So the approach in the UK right now is to allow hormone therapy for anyone 16 and older. And with respect to puberty blockers, the UK has restricted new prescriptions outside of research settings. But the Cass implementation plan itself makes clear that if a medical team determines that these medications are necessary for a particular patient, they will be provided. And that is
the restriction that I mentioned was imposed by the British government some months ago. It was reaffirmed by the current Labour government, was it not? It was upheld by the High Court of Justice as based on sufficient medical evidence. Isn't all of that true?
I believe that all of that's true. It's outside the record in this case, and so I haven't myself confirmed everything that you just cited, which wasn't before the district court in this case. But let me make a couple of additional points. To the extent that you think that this needs to be taken into account in the application of heightened scrutiny, there's a time and a place for that, and it's with record evidence on remand. We think the court here just needs to recognize the sex-based classification in this statute and send the case back. If the court wants to go ahead and look at what's happening in Europe, the UK has not categorically banned this care. Sweden, Finland, and Norway, the other jurisdictions that my friends point to, have not banned this care. And I think that's because of the recognition that this care can provide critical, sometimes life-saving benefits for individuals with severe gender dysphoria.